Hello and welcome to Craftiosity, where creativity comes to you. With monthly craft kits delivered to your door, introducing our paper quilling clock craft kit, where imagination meets functionality. Craft with precision and passion, and transform simple strips of paper into a masterpiece that adorns your walls and tells time in style. Whether you're a seasoned crafter or just starting your journey, our kit provides everything you need to create your own stunning timepiece. Inside your kit, you'll find PVA glue, white acrylic paint, a paint brush, your clock mechanism, a quilling tool, a pack of assorted quilling papers, and one square MDF clock face. You'll also find your step-by-step photo instructions and a little something for your pinboard. Take your square MDF clock face and apply an even layer of white paint using your paint brush. Paint the edges as well as the front. Once the first coat is dry, apply a second coat of paint. You will need to apply 3 or 4 coats in total. Allow to dry fully in between coats. You will begin by quilling the flower centers, as these are the easiest shape to form. Tear off a strip of the bright yellow quilling paper cut in half and slot one end into the quilling tool. Roll the paper tightly around the quilling tool, all the way to the other end, keeping tension on the strip as you turn the tool. Slide the quilling tool out from the paper so you have a tight coil. Allow the paper to unroll slightly until you have a coil that is approximately 6 mm in diameter. Apply a small amount of glue to the inside of the end of the paper. You only need a very small amount of glue, so be very sparing when you apply it. Use the tip of the glue bottle to spread the glue out evenly. Hold the glued end against the paper coil for a few seconds to ensure it doesn't unravel when you let go. Your flower center is complete. To make the smaller flower centers, take a strip of yellow paper and fold it in half. Cut along the fold so you end up with 2 shorter strips of paper. Fold each strip in half again and cut into quarters. Make a coil using your quilling tool in the same way as for the larger centers. Then glue the end down. Repeat this process to make 4 larger centers in bright yellow, 2 smaller centers in bright yellow, and 6 smaller centers in pale yellow. To make the petals for the larger pink flowers, take a strip of the pink quilling paper and fold in half. Cut along the fold so you have 2 strips of paper. Slot the end of the strip into your quilling tool and roll into a coil. Then turn your quilling tool the opposite direction several times to create a loose coil. Use your tool to slide the coil to one side, then pinch the opposite side to create a point. Repeat this process to make 16 pink petals in total, 8 per flower, each measuring approximately 14 mm. To make the petals for the larger blue flowers, take a strip of the blue quilling paper and fold in half. Cut along the fold so you have 2 strips of paper. Slot the end of the strip into your quilling tool and roll into a coil. Then turn your quilling tool the opposite direction several times to create a loose coil. Use your quilling tool to position the coiled part in the center. Then slide out the tool. Gently pinch either side of the soil to create an eye-shaped petal. Glue the end of the paper down. Make 16 blue petals in total, 8 per flower, each measuring approximately 14 mm. To make the petals for the smaller red flowers, take a strip of the red quilling paper and fold in half. Cut along the fold so you have 2 strips of paper. Slot the end of the strip into your quilling tool and roll into a coil. Allow the coil to unroll slightly and remove the tool. Pinch one end of the quilled shape to create a point. On the other end of the shape, push in to create an indent with a curve on either side. You should be left with an almost heart-shaped piece. Make 10 red petals in total, 5 per flower. To make the petals for the smaller purple flowers, take a strip of the purple quilling paper and fold in half. Cut along the fold so you have 2 strips of paper. Slot the end of the strip into your quilling tool and roll into a coil. Allow the coil to unroll slightly and remove the tool. Position the coil to one side of the shape, then pinch the opposite side to create a point. Press down on the end with the coil to create a flat end to the petal, so it's almost triangle shaped. Make 10 purple petals in total, 5 per flower. To make the petals for the smaller peach flowers, take a strip of the peach quilling paper and fold in half. Cut along the fold so you have 2 strips of paper. Slot the end of the strip into your quilling tool and roll into a coil. Allow the coil to unroll slightly and remove the tool. Pinch one end of the shape to create a point. Gently push on the opposite curved end to encourage your petal to open up slightly. Make 12 peach petals in total, 6 per flower. To make the petals for the small yellow flowers, take a strip of the buttercup yellow quilling paper and fold in half. Cut along the fold so you have 2 strips of paper. Slot the end of the strip into your quilling tool and roll into a coil. Allow the coil to unroll slightly. Position the coil to one side of the shape. Then pinch the opposite side to create a point. Gently squeeze the rest of the petal too. To create a narrower, longer petal, make 12 yellow petals in total, 6 per flower. Use a ruler to measure 4 centimeters in from each of the points of your square and mark lightly in pencil. These represent the 12, 3, 6, and 9 on the clock. Between each of the marked points, mark 2 equally spaced points. You should have 12 marks on your wooden square. Glue the 2 pink flowers onto the wooden board at the 12 and 6 positions. The top and bottom points, use a blob of glue on the underside of each piece. Don't apply too much glue as you don't want it to ooze out from underneath the paper. Start with gluing the yellow center onto the point you mark it in pencil, covering it up. Then glue each of the pink petals in place, ensuring the tip of each petal touches the center and they are spaced out evenly. Glue the 2 large blue flowers at the 3 and 9 positions on the clock. As before, start by gluing the yellow center. Then glue down each of the petals around it. Glue the remaining flowers in between the pink and blue flowers, 1 flower at each of the pencil marks you made. These will represent the numbers 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 10 and 11 on the clock. Make 4 large and 4 small leaves using the bright green strips. To make the large leaves, take a strip of paper, roll into a coil and allow the coil to unroll and remove the tool. Then pinch either end to create a point and then bend 1 point down and 1 point up. Glue the end. Make the small leaves in the same way. Use only half a strip of paper. Glue the bright green leaves so that 2 leaves are coming out from between the petals of each of the larger pink and blue flowers. Create stems or vines between each of the flowers to join them together. Cut lengths of the light green paper strips and curve them slightly so they look more organic. Place glue on either end of the strip and position between the petals of the flowers. Make decorative curls to add to your flower stems out of the light green paper strips. Now cut a strip into quarters and roll each piece into a coil. Allow the coil to unroll into a spiral. Don't glue the end down. Glue the uncoiled end of the paper onto one of the stems. Make 4 larger and 6 smaller light green leaves. Cut a green paper strip in half and roll into a coil. Allow the coil to unroll slightly and remove the tool. Pinch one end to create a point. You can leave the other end curved or pinch that too to create a pointed leaf. Repeat this process, but using a quarter of a paper strip for the smaller. Glue into place. Take the plastic clock mechanism and place the rubber washer over the spindle. Insert the spindle through the hole in the center of your clock from the back. Place the brass washer over the spindle, then screw on the hexagonal nut to hold everything in place. Place the hour hand over the spindle end and push down into position, taking care not to bend the metal. Repeat this with the minute hand. There should be a gap between the 2 hands. Finally, push the second hand in so it sits in the center of the spindle. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and we look forward to welcoming you to the next craft kit project next month.